Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live, and now we get into your sports news in this hour. Now, the Lions Cricket Union has been winning on and off the field of play due to some brave decisions and investment in both their men's and women's team. Now, as one of the first unions to give women cricketers in South Africa professional contracts, the Lions and the country has benefited hugely from the type of decisions. We've now roped in members of the current Lions squad to talk about their lived experiences. We do have Coach Sean, we've got Khumuta as well as Madison. And good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Coach, I want to start with you. I want to talk about the difference in how you're seeing your players come out for the Lions Cricket Club ever since they've been able to get these professional women's contracts.
I think, good morning listeners and everyone around. I think first of all, huge hands of applause that goes to our CEO, the board, the members, the sponsors, that obviously made sure that we used to make sure that there was professional contracts even before Cricket South Africa introduced the professional era for women's cricket. The likes of the sponsors supporting us with that. We've got our team doctor who's a female, we've got our physio who's a female, we've got our SNC who's a female, so already that is huge steps in the right direction in empowering women, especially on this specific day of Women's Month and Women's Day. But I think the way the girls have developed, transition with the professional setup, it was just huge from where they were, going to school, and now all of a sudden it becomes their job. So now they train like 24/7. They need to send in workloads and stuff like that. So it's a huge step in the right direction, but I do think there's still a lot of growth that needs to take place.
Yeah, there is still a lot that we can do to improve women's cricket in the country. Madison, I'm going to come to you because I remember having an interview with you once and we just spoke about how cricket started out for you and it was by chance. But did you ever think eventually when you started playing regularly there would come a time where you'd just be able to play cricket and not have to focus on doing other things while playing cricket and have cricket be almost an add-on?
Yeah, I mean, when I started cricket, that was always the dream. The dream was always that this would be my dream job, and then I would be able to play cricket all the time and train and focus solely on this. But also, when I was younger, starting out, it felt like something so far in the future and something that would have to be really work towards. And yeah, now that the professional era has been implemented, it's unbelievable. I mean, this year I've been able to focus solely on cricket, and it's been my job, and it's amazing, and it's something that I'm loving doing.
And do you feel that being able to have that type of focus has also helped you to improve your game and your performance?
Yes, for sure. And I mean, I've seen a huge change. I've played senior provincial cricket for quite a while, but the last season now when the professional contract started, it was almost like things took a leap forward in the right direction. I mean, the professionalism has changed the face of women's cricket. Everyone is working harder because there's more competition. Everyone wants to be that one on the bigger contracts. Everyone, it's just inspiring people to work harder because now it feels like all that hard work is paying off because there's something that we're getting back for it now as well. So it's made an amazing change, and I think it's something that we're all loving, being able to play the sport that we love every day of the week.
And I want to come to you now, Captain Fantastic, because you've been a captain of this team now. And talk to me about perhaps some of the challenges that you think you come across as having to lead this young group of women, because they look to you for leadership, not just in terms of playing on the field, but also outside of the field. How has that been for you?
Honestly, being obviously the young captain of the team, I started it was a bit difficult for me, honestly, because there's people older than me and people that look up to me and all that. And me obviously coming and managing the space and obviously leading the team, it was a bit challenging, but because I had them on my side, I had to believe in them and they had to believe in me for it to work out. So now I think it's moving smoothly.
And now you're Captain Fantastic,
yeah.
leading from the front. Sean, I want to talk about perhaps when we look at women's cricket, where we are now. You mentioned in your first response to me that yes, a lot has been done, but a lot can still be done. What are some of those other things that you'd like to see change moving forward to better women's cricket?
I think first of all, if we go back a few years, don't want to give away my age, but if we go back a few years, we only started with 5 contracts. That was done by CSA and Lions, together with the high-performance contracts. And then obviously now we are at the professional where we are at 11 contracts. I think if you look at the Protea setup, you will see that there's 16 contracts. I think something similar should filter down to them having 16 contracts within all the union spaces. I think also Division 2 needs to be looked after, because when players move up, they also should have that professionalism within their space as well. And that also would take care of maybe longer formats of cricket, where the girls can maybe play during the week, because it's now their solely focus is their job. Because currently the girls are only playing on a Saturday and a Sunday. Because of our team dynamics, we've got scholars within our team, people that go to school, we've got people that are professionals whose job it is 24/7, and then we've also got people that work, pharmacists, doctors, teachers, that still plays cricket. So it's difficult to build all dynamics with a balance. So if we can sort of filter down to 16 contracts, then you can solely focus on cricket, like playing a longer format, because I know the Proteas are focusing a lot on test match cricket for women, and that will also contribute to the bigger picture for Cricket South Africa going forward.
And speaking about the Proteas, I want to touch on this with you, Madison, because we saw what a good solid T20 World Cup the women's senior Proteas team had, reaching the final. In the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, we saw you performing beautifully there as well. Let's talk about perhaps your highlights so far of your career, and what has been that standout moment that when we say Madison, you want us to think of that.
Well, when I look back to the World Cup, I mean, the World Cup was an unbelievable experience. I think the hat-trick moment in the World Cup is something that I'll always look back on, which was unbelievable for me. But I must say, this professional contracts that's come into the women's space has changed, like I said, it's changed the face of women's cricket, and this has been by far the best part of my career. I mean, it feels like it's only getting started now, but I have been playing for a while. But this last season, the professional era it's been fantastic. I mean, you know, like I said, being able to do this every day of the week, it's definitely been a highlight for me, because being able to focus on the sport is what I want out of my life, and it's amazing that that's getting started now for all of us.
And I mean, you say it feels like it's just getting started for you, because it almost is, because there's still so much more to look forward to.
Yeah.
And we expect a lot out of you. And I know the pressure that we put on you, but do you also feel like that hat-trick moment somewhat increased the expectations from you, from yourself, as well as from your team?
I suppose in a way it has, but at the same time, I like, you know, having big performances like that. So it kind of has inspired me more than anything else to try and, you know, get more moments like that, more game-changing things, because that's what makes me enjoy cricket the most. So it's been more motivating for me than anything else.
I love that. And for you, Khomotso, what would you say so far has been the highlight of your career when you look back at what you've been able to do?
I think since I've started playing cricket, I think for me, I've been winning awards and all that.
Yes.
But
come with it, don't hold back.
But last season, it was absolutely the most beautiful year I can ever say, and the one that I can remember for the rest of my life, because I've been working hard, obviously, and to see myself being called 3 times on stage, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. But without my team, I don't think I wouldn't have done it. Without my coaches and the work they put into, and their time they took to obviously help us, absolutely amazing.
And you look back at your journey and winning awards, what do you want to say to the young girl that's sitting at home and says, I want to one day be like Khomotso, one day I want to be like a Madison? What are your words of inspiration? Because we know that sometimes it's difficult to get into the spaces that we're in, but once we're there, obviously we also want to inspire the next generation, and we don't just want to do it for ourselves.
I think 2 words for me: manifestation and praying, because I always believe in that. If you do that and put the work on top of it, I think everything will go well, because eventually the sun will rise.
I love that. I love that. That sounds like something Jonah would say. I can tell you coming from the Lions. And Coach, I want to speak to you as well in just terms of inspiring the next generation, because we speak now, yes, young women in cricket are getting these professional contracts, but this hasn't always been the case. So then what are your words that you want to then give to the parents of these young girls that are watching right now? Because when a young child comes and says, Mom, I want to play cricket professionally, there's lots of question marks for the parents parents is in, will you be able to sustain yourself from a financial point of view? So let us speak to that element as well.
I think I think it's important for parents to support their kids' dreams and not to shut it down. I think it's also important in the era that we are living in, that is about equality and making sure that we look after the women as well, the ladies, the girls. I've got twin daughters at home. They're 13 years old. The one plays cricket. The other one wants nothing to do with cricket. But it's about encouraging them, obviously, to play the game and making sure we support them. For the parents out there, it's just about making sure that we love them. Yes, as our captain has said, the sun will rise one day for them. But for those who the sun doesn't rise for, it's important about just loving them. Because in the world that we are living, there's so much things happening outside that is horrific to watch on TV. But it's about making sure that we look after our kids and we love and support them, specifically during this time that we are going through. Yes, cricket is an expensive sport, but it's about making sure that we look after our kids from that perspective as well.
Indeed, we do want to look after the young ones. Madison, Khumuta, happy Women's Day. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do this season. Thank you to you too, Coach. Happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you for having us.
It is the Lions Cricket joining us in studio here today, the women's team, just speaking all things women's cricket and how the sport has improved over the years and what we can still work on to make sure that women's cricket is at the best level possible.